Under the shimmering lights of Hollywood, where dreams are born on silver screens and stories find life in whispers of fame and resilience, the tale of Blake Lively stands as one of grace, charm, and quiet determination as cameras flash and red carpets stretch endlessly. She walks with a calm confidence that speaks louder than the fame surrounding her, and now, as whispers of her potential earnings from it ends with us echo across the entertainment world, fans can't help but marvel at how this actress who started from humble beginnings carved her way into the hearts of millions, with a blend of warmth, authenticity, and style that feels both approachable and aspirational. Blake's journey began long before the glitz her early years marked. By creativity and curiosity growing up in a family connected to the entertainment industry, she saw firsthand the hard work and sacrifice behind the spotlight, and rather than letting that intimidate her, it fueled her passion. She stepped into the world of acting not with arrogance but with quiet determination. Her breakout role as Serena van der Woodsen on Gossip Girl turned her into an icon of the late 2000s, defining fashion trends and inspiring young women worldwide. But beneath the couture, dresses and high heels, there was always a girl who valued authenticity over perfection, who smiled not for the cameras, but for the joy of connection. And it's this quality that makes her one of Hollywood's most beloved figures now as it ends. With Us became one of the most anticipated book-to-film adaptations. Blake found herself at the center of both praise and scrutiny, with fans celebrating her portrayal of Lily Bloom, while discussions about contracts, pay scales, and production dynamics swirled around her name. Yet in true Blake fashion, she handled it all with poise, reminding everyone that grace in the face of chaos is her signature move. Her ability to balance artistry and business savvy has always set her apart. She's not just an actress, but a storyteller, entrepreneur, and philanthropist, building a brand rooted in creativity, compassion, and community. And beyond the headlines about salaries and negotiations lies a deeper narrative about women in Hollywood fighting for recognition, equality, and the right to be valued, not just for their beauty, but for their brilliance. Blake has often used her platform to uplift others, championing causes from child welfare to education and environmental sustainability. Her partnership with organizations that empower women reflects her belief that success means little if not shared. She's the kind of celebrity who understands that influence is a tool for impact, not ego. And that's why even in the face of public debates about her pay or film choices, she remains admired for her integrity and kindness as she continues to evolve from on-screen starlet to respected producer and businesswoman. She joins a generation of women in Hollywood, redefining power narratives alongside trailblazers like Reese Witherspoon, Zendaya, and Margot Robbie, women who prove that artistic excellence and leadership are not mutually exclusive. And as her name trends alongside news of it ends with Us and her connection to Taylor Swift, fans can't help but draw parallels between their journeys. Two strong women navigating fame, friendship, and creative evolution, both embodying the idea that reinvention is not a luxury but a necessity in an ever-changing industry. Taylor, who turned heartbreak into art and business into empowerment, has long shared a kinship with Blake built on mutual respect and genuine friendship. And their ability to support one another in private while remaining authentic in public is what fans admire. Most yet, this story extends far beyond Hollywood glitz. It's about the countless artists worldwide striving to balance art passion and self-worth, from Bollywood's deep storytelling traditions to the musical revolutions in soul to the cinematic innovations across Europe. The thread connecting all these worlds is the shared desire to create something timeless and meaningful, and Blake stands as a quiet testament to that universal pursuit. Her career may be marked by designer gowns and blockbuster roles, but it's her heart for humanity that keeps her grounded. She's spoken openly about motherhood, about finding joy in imperfection, about the beauty of vulnerability. And these are the moments that truly connect her to her audience, because behind every glamorous appearance is a woman learning, growing, and giving just like anyone else. Her collaboration with husband Ryan Reynolds, another Hollywood favorite, only adds to the charm of her story. Together, they balance humor, love, and partnership in a way that feels refreshingly real, and their philanthropic efforts, from supporting children's hospitals to funding clean water initiatives, show that their legacy is built on kindness, not just fame. And as the industry evolves with conversations about pay equity, representation, and artistic integrity, Blake's name often comes up as an example of how to navigate fame with both heart and intelligence. She doesn't shout her values, she lives them, and that subtle strength speaks volumes. It's why when her potential earnings from it ends with Us make headlines, fans don't just see dollar signs. They see a woman being recognized for years of hard work, resilience, and excellence. And that resonates deeply, especially in an era where Audiences crave transparency and purpose from their idols. This fascination with celebrity pay and status is part of a larger conversation about value, how we define success and worth. Not just in Hollywood, but in life. Every headline, every photo, every viral clip tells only a fraction of the story. The rest lies in the journey and the quiet moments of perseverance. And that's what this world of fame truly embodies. Behind the awards and applause lies countless hours of rejection, self-doubt, and persistence. It's easy to forget that these stars are human too. Facing challenges, navigating relationships, managing pressure, and finding meaning in a world that never stops watching. And so as we look at Blake's story, we're reminded of others who've walked similar paths, like Emma Stone balancing artistic ambition with grace, or Anne Hathaway, who turned early backlash into a comeback story defined by confidence and authenticity, or Zendaya, who seamlessly transitions between blockbuster hits and activism. Each of them shows that fame is fleeting, but purpose endures. And when we expand our lens to include global stars, we see the same pattern emerging artists like Deepika Padukone in India, or Florence Pugh in Britain, or Blackpink's Jennie in Korea, all navigating the intersection of creativity and fame, redefining what it means to be a celebrity in the digital age. This interconnected world of fame mirrors our own aspirations, because whether on screen or off, we all seek meaning, connection, and growth. We admire these stars not just for their talent, but for their ability to keep shining, even when the world watches their every move. And as the narrative continues, the story of Blake Lively's potential. Pay becomes less about numbers and more about narrative, about fairness, representation, and inspiration, and that's what makes her story so relatable. It's not just Hollywood, it's humanity unfolding in the spotlight, you said. And as the story of Blake Lively's journey continues to unfold like a cinematic dream, filled with both triumph and transformation, we begin to see how her influence extends far beyond the roles she plays on screen, because behind the glamour and the glossy magazine covers is a woman who understands that storytelling is power, and that the voices of women in entertainment have the ability to change how the world sees itself. Blake has often spoken about the importance of creative ownership, and the need for women to step into positions of influence within the industry, not just as actresses, but as producers, directors, and visionaries shaping the kinds of stories that reach audiences around the world. And her growing involvement in production roles demonstrates that desire to create art that resonates on a deeper emotional level, rather than simply entertain. And it's this shift that makes her such a compelling figure in modern Hollywood. She's no longer just a face of fashion. She's a force of creative leadership. But what's equally beautiful about her evolution is how she remains grounded. Her public appearances radiate a mix of confidence and humility. She never seems detached from the people who admire her, and that sense of connection is what fans treasure most. Whether she's walking a red carpet or visiting a charity event, Blake always finds ways to make those around her feel seen and valued. Her empathy shines through every interaction, and perhaps that's why so many of her peers respect her as much for her heart as for her artistry. And it's this very quality that draws comparisons to her longtime friend, Taylor Swift, who has built an empire rooted in emotional truth through her songwriting. Taylor has shown how vulnerability can become a superpower, and how art that stems from honesty will always connect deeply with people. Their friendship has been one of the most talked about and admired relationships in the entertainment world, because it represents something rare: authenticity and loyalty in an industry often defined by competition rather than collaboration. Their connection goes beyond shared fame. It's about shared values. The belief that women should lift one another up rather than tear each other down. And while the media sometimes spins tales of tension or distance between them, what often goes unseen is the quiet support, the check-in texts, the private encouragements that form the foundation of real friendship. And it's in these unseen gestures that their bond truly lives. And as headlines continue to speculate about Blake's involvement in it, ends with us and her potential pay. The public can't help but look at this through the lens of equality in Hollywood. The conversation about fair compensation has become central in recent years, with stars like Jennifer Lawrence, Emma Stone, and Viola Davis using their platforms to speak out against gender pay gaps. It's not just about celebrity wealth. It's about systemic recognition of worth and contribution, and Blake's situation serves as a timely reminder of how complex these negotiations can be, because every dollar represents more than a figure. It represents respect, it represents a seat at the table, and as fans discuss these matters online, the dialogue broadens. encouraging people everywhere to think about how we define value in our own professions and lives. And in this way, celebrity culture becomes a mirror reflecting our collective conversations about justice, equality, and aspiration beyond Hollywood. The global entertainment landscape mirrors these struggles in music. We see artists like Beyoncé, Rihanna, and Taylor Swift reclaiming their creative rights setting new precedents for ownership and autonomy, in sports figures like Serena Williams and Naomi Osaka have fought similar battles, proving that talent and integrity can coexist with activism. And in fashion, icons like Zendaya and Timothée Chalamet challenge traditional norms, redefining what elegance and self-expression look like for a new generation. All of these stories connect because they represent a broader cultural awakening, one that celebrates individuality, authenticity, and empowerment. And when we return to Blake, we see how her story fits perfectly within that wave. Her work, her fashion, her motherhood, her philanthropy. They all form a tapestry of balance. She shows that you can chase excellence and still stay true to your heart, that you can succeed without losing kindness, and that success does not have to mean sacrifice of self. It's no wonder that when she steps into public view, whether at the Met Gala or on the set of a new project, the world watches in admiration. Because she doesn't just wear couture, she carries a message of grace in motion. And speaking of motion, her career continues to evolve in unexpected ways. With It Ends With Us, Blake stepped into a narrative that resonated with millions of readers. The story's themes of love, strength, and self-discovery echo her own journey as an artist and woman, and as audiences eagerly await the film's full release, discussions around her portrayal have sparked both excitement and curiosity. Fans wonder how she approached such a complex emotional role, and early glimpses suggest a performance that's layered, authentic, and deeply moving. What's particularly inspiring is how Blake embraces challenges as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles. She has often said that failure teaches more than success, and her willingness to take creative risks has made her one of the most respected actresses of her generation. She doesn't chase trends, she creates them. She doesn't follow paths, she builds them. And in doing so, she inspires countless others, especially young women who see in her a reflection of their own hopes and ambitions. And while Hollywood continues to evolve with shifting values and new faces, Blake's legacy remains steady, grounded in purpose, passion, and integrity. But this documentary journey wouldn't be complete without celebrating the interconnected web of celebrities who, like Blake, are redefining fame as something more meaningful. Think of Zendaya, who gracefully balances fashion, artistry, and activism, or Timothée Chalamet, who challenges masculinity, stereotypes with vulnerability and elegance, or Rihanna, who turned music stardom into a multi-industry empire built on empowerment, or Selena Gomez, whose journey through mental health advocacy and creative rebirth continues to inspire millions around the globe. These individuals represent a new age of celebrity, where transparency and authenticity mean more than perfection, where fans don't just admire their idols, they relate to them. And the beauty of it all is that these stories remind us that fame at its best can be a force for good. It can uplift, inspire, and unite people across borders, languages, and cultures. And that's what makes this exploration so special. It's not just about Hollywood paychecks or award shows, it's about the shared human experience underneath it all, the late-night rehearsals, the doubts, the breakthroughs, the tears, and the triumphs that make these stars so relatable. And as Blake continues her artistic journey, she joins a generation of dreamers who remind us that success doesn't happen overnight. It's built piece by piece with patience, passion, and perseverance. Her rise mirrors the rhythm of countless artists before her and the hope of countless others to come. And just like that, the world of fame feels less like a distant universe and more like a reflection of the best parts of ourselves. And as the rhythm of Blake Lively's story continues, we find ourselves drawn even deeper into the heart of Hollywood, where glamour often masks the endless hours of dedication, and where resilience is the invisible thread that holds every star's story together, because behind the flashing lights of premieres and the elegance of designer gowns lies a world built on hard work, collaboration, and creative passion. Blake embodies this truth perfectly. Her journey is not one of shortcuts or overnight miracles, but of steady growth, of listening, learning, and evolving through every role she has taken. Her career paints a picture of someone who values artistry over fame, someone who treats every set like a classroom and every character like a new discovery. This humility, combined with her sophistication, is what has kept her relevant and respected in an industry that constantly chases the next big thing. Her fans love her, not just because she's beautiful or talented, but because she seems Real, she carries the same warmth on talk shows that she shares in interviews, and even through her witty and lighthearted social media presence, she radiates authenticity and humor, which makes her feel more like a friend than a distant star. And when her name trends alongside discussions of film budgets and potential earnings, it's not with envy but admiration, because people know that every milestone she reaches is earned with integrity and effort. And speaking of integrity, this new wave of transparency in Hollywood surrounding pay equity and creative control feels like a revolution. Decades ago, stars rarely spoke about contracts or negotiations, but now celebrities like Blake use their influence to highlight fairness. Not only for themselves, but for everyone behind the scenes, for writers, crew members, and creators who make the magic happen. And this is where Hollywood begins to resemble a microcosm of society. At large, a place where conversations about gender fairness, representation, and diversity echo the global dialogue for justice and equality. And when we step back, we see how interconnected these stories are. Because while Blake represents the cinematic world, other artists in different arenas are fighting similar battles in music. Taylor Swift's decision to re-record her albums became a defining moment in the ownership movement, showing how artists can reclaim their creative rights in fashion. Rihanna and Beyoncé continue to push inclusivity as core values through their brands. In sports, Serena Williams transformed the narrative around motherhood and athleticism, proving that strength and softness coexist beautifully. These stories build a collective mosaic of progress, reminding us that fame is not about ego, but evolution. And in the middle of all this cultural transformation, Blake's own brand continues to blossom. She's not just an actress anymore. She's a storyteller in every sense, from her fashion ventures to her production endeavors. She pours intention into everything she touches. Even her fashion choices tell a story. Each appearance on the red carpet feels curated not for attention, but for expression. Whether it's the handcrafted gowns she wears to the Met Gala, or her simple yet chic street style, she uses fashion as an art form to communicate creativity, confidence, and identity, and fans adore her for it, because she embodies the idea that elegance doesn't mean extravagance, it means authenticity. She's one of those rare stars who can move from a couture event to a family outing without losing her glow. And perhaps that's what makes her presence so magnetic. It's the balance, the effortless ability to be both an icon and an everywoman. And in this way, she reminds us of other stars who've achieved the same delicate balance, like Natalie Portman, who pairs activism with artistry, or Keira Knightley, who uses her influence to promote education and equality, or Zendaya, who continues to redefine youth empowerment in her generation. They all share a thread of purpose that connects them to their audience in meaningful ways. And while Blake's current headlines revolve around her potential, it ends with Us Pay Her legacy extends much deeper. She represents a shift in how Hollywood defines value, no longer tied solely to box office numbers, but to impact, influence, and intention. And this impact is not limited to the United States, because her influence stretches globally, inspiring fans. From London to Mumbai, from Paris to Seoul, her work sparks conversation about creativity, womanhood, and balance in a world that often demands perfection. She reminds people to embrace imperfection, to find strength in softness and joy in simplicity. And that message resonates because it reflects something universal: the human desire to be seen, not just for what we do, but for who we are. And in moments when Blake steps away from the camera, we see the full dimension of her character. She's a mother, a wife, a friend, and a philanthropist. Her relationship with Ryan Reynolds is often celebrated as one of Hollywood's most genuine partnerships, filled with humor, respect, and shared purpose. Together, they've raised millions for charitable causes while maintaining an aura of down-to-earth authenticity. Their relationship feels relatable because it's built on friendship and laughter, and that's something audiences hold dear. And while Ryan often takes center stage with his comedic charm, Blake's quiet strength complements him perfectly. They are proof that love doesn't have to dim individuality, but can instead amplify it. And that lesson extends far beyond Hollywood, reminding us that partnership should never mean losing oneself. And while the conversation around Blake's career focuses on films and fame, her influence on fashion and philanthropy deserves equal recognition. Her collaborations with brands often reflect her personal values, promoting sustainability and craftsmanship over fast trends. She has championed small designers and artisans, giving them global recognition and using her platform to uplift creativity rather than consume it. This conscious approach mirrors a growing movement among celebrities who use fame to build something lasting, something bigger than themselves. Think of Emma Watson and her ethical fashion advocacy, or Leonardo DiCaprio and his environmental activism. Each of them proves that influence can evolve into impact when guided by intention, and when you weave all these stories together, you begin to see a picture of modern celebrity culture that's not about scandal but about strength, not about competition but about community. This new generation of stars understands that the real legacy lies not in trophies but in transformation. They are rewriting what fame means for the 21st century. And in this redefined landscape, Blake Lively's story stands as a testament to grace, resilience, and empowerment. Shows that you can shine without dimming others. That success built on kindness is still success. And as she continues to navigate her career through artistic choices, business ventures, and family life, she becomes a symbol of balance in an unbalanced world. Her name may fill headlines with talk of contracts and roles, but her legacy will be remembered for something far more profound: the way she made people feel, the way she inspired authenticity, and the way she reminded the world that even in the dazzling world of celebrities, it's the human heart that truly captivates. And as we move deeper into this incredible tapestry of fame, fortune, and friendship, the story continues to unfold with a warmth that feels almost cinematic, because Blake Lively's journey isn't just a reflection of Hollywood glamour, it's a reminder of what happens when determination meets grace, and when creativity meets compassion. Her career may have started with television stardom, but over time it evolved into something much richer and more meaningful. She built a path that balanced artistry with entrepreneurship, family with fame and individuality, with collaboration, and that balance is what keeps her story so captivating even now, as conversations swirl about her potential earnings. From It Ends With Us, what truly stands out isn't the number on the paycheck, but the principles that guide her choices. She has always treated her craft as a form of storytelling, a way to move people rather than simply entertain them. She dives into her roles with thought and care, choosing characters who challenge her and projects that allow her to grow. And that kind of creative integrity resonates deeply with audiences because in an age where everything moves fast, authenticity feels like gold. Blake's authenticity is what draws people in, whether she's walking a red carpet, wearing a breathtaking couture gown, or sharing behind-the-scenes photos from a movie set. She makes every moment feel personal and accessible. It's that blend of star power and sincerity that defines her presence. And as her journey intertwines with so many other beloved figures in the entertainment world, we start to see how interconnected all these celebrity stories really are. For example, Taylor Swift, whose friendship with Blake has captured fans' hearts for years, continues to embody the idea of creative ownership and resilience. Her decision to stand up for her art and re-record her albums turned a personal battle into a cultural movement, inspiring countless artists to take control of their own narratives. And that message of empowerment echoes through Hollywood and beyond, from Taylor's fight for her masters, to Selena Gomez's advocacy for mental health, to Zendaya's commitment to representation and inclusivity. These women are shaping not only pop culture, but also the mindset of an entire generation. And Blake fits right into that narrative because she too uses her platform for more than promotion. She uses it for purpose. She talks openly about the importance of kindness, about the need to lift others up rather than tear them down, about finding joy in both success and struggle. And those ideas resonate because they come from experience. Her journey has not been without challenges. There were times when projects didn't land the way they were expected to, or when public scrutiny threatened to overshadow her personal life. But she never let those moments define her. Instead, she transformed them into fuel for reinvention. She turned obstacles into opportunities, and every time she stepped back into the spotlight, she did it with more wisdom, more empathy, and more confidence. That quiet resilience has made her one of the most respected figures in Hollywood, not just as an actress, but as a role model for balance and longevity. And when you look at her alongside other enduring stars like Angelina Jolie or Sandra Bullock or Cate Blanchett, you see a shared pattern of growth and groundedness. These women have redefined what it means to be powerful. They've shown that true success isn't about dominance, it's about grace, collaboration, and evolution. And in the same breath, we can't ignore how the entertainment industry itself is changing around them. The conversation about fair pay, creative freedom, and respect on set is louder than ever before. And every time a star like Blake negotiates transparently or advocates for better treatment, it moves the needle a little further towards equity for everyone behind the scenes. Because Hollywood is not just made of faces on screens. It's built by crews, stylists, editors, assistants, and creatives who rarely get the spotlight. And when people like Blake or Emma Stone or Margot Robbie speak up, they're not just fighting for themselves, but for all those whose voices are often unheard. This growing awareness of collective empowerment is reshaping the heart of celebrity culture, and it's what makes modern Hollywood so much more inspiring than it used to be, because now fame isn't just about being adored, it's about being accountable. It's about using influence for good, and it's about transforming admiration into action. And in that light, we can also appreciate the friendships that blossom in this world. Friendships like Blake and Taylor's, which despite their ups and downs remain grounded in mutual respect and support. Their connection shows that even in an industry often painted as competitive, real bonds do exist, built not on headlines, but on shared values. And that brings us to another important truth about the world of celebrities. The best relationships are the ones that survive the noise. Whether it's Blake and Taylor laughing together at award shows, or Selena Gomez and Nicola Peltz supporting each other through their creative ventures. These friendships remind fans that solidarity among stars is real, that kindness travels far even when fame tests its limits. And that's something worth celebrating because it teaches us that authenticity can coexist with ambition, that compassion doesn't weaken success, it strengthens it. And as Blake continues to navigate her career through evolving roles and new opportunities, her legacy becomes less about movies and more about meaning she's part of a generation of artists, redefining what it means to be influential. She's proving that you can be stylish and self-aware, successful and sincere all at once. And in doing so, she keeps reminding the world that behind every glamorous headline there's a story of hard work, humanity, and hope. And maybe that's what keeps audiences so invested, not just in her, but in the entire culture of modern celebrity. Because deep down, people aren't just drawn to fame, they're drawn to the stories behind it, the perseverance, the creativity, the resilience, the emotion. And in Blake Lively's case, her story shines as one of endless evolution, a reminder that true power lies not in perfection, but in purpose. And as we reach the heart of this story, where fame meets faith and glamour meets grit, we see how Blake Lively's narrative continues to evolve like a living poem, written in the ink of resilience, grace, and self-belief. Her potential pay for it. Ends with us maybe making headlines, but the real value of her career cannot be measured in dollars. It's measured in influence, in authenticity, in the millions she inspires to chase dreams with kindness and conviction. She's one of those rare stars who understand that being in the spotlight is a privilege, not a possession, and she uses that platform to give back, whether it's through her advocacy for child welfare, her dedication to small businesses, her creative projects that push boundaries, or her efforts to make fashion more sustainable and inclusive. She leads not with noise, but with nuance, and that's what makes her story timeless. She belongs to a generation of modern icons alongside people like Zendaya, Rihanna, and Taylor Swift, who are showing the world that true success lies in creating impact that lasts long after the cameras stop rolling. And speaking of Taylor, her relationship with Blake continues to fascinate fans because it's rooted in something rare in Hollywood sincerity. They've shared laughter collaborations and even quiet moments of distance. And yet what's most beautiful is how they represent two powerful women evolving at their own pace, supporting each other in spirit, even when they're walking different paths. It's a gentle reminder that friendship in the world of fame is not about proximity. It's about respect. It's about letting each other grow. It's about celebrating someone else's light without dimming your own, and that theme resonates across so many celebrity journeys, because behind every dazzling smile and polished interview, there's a human being navigating pressures, heartbreaks, reinventions, and triumphs. People like Selena Gomez, who has turned her vulnerability into advocacy, using her story to make mental health a global conversation, or Zendaya, who began as a Disney star and has now become a force of fashion art and empowerment, teaching young audiences that elegance and strength can coexist, or Rihanna, who built a billion-dollar empire, not by chasing trends, but by creating them, redefining what inclusivity means in beauty and business. Each of these stories connects to Blake's because they share the same undercurrent of purpose. The same refusal to be limited by labels or expectations. They're redefining what it means to be a celebrity, not just as entertainers, but as change makers. And that's why this documentary, like Journey, feels so much larger than gossip or glamour. It's about evolution, about watching these figures use fame, not as a finish line, but as a launch pad to do better, to give more, to become fuller versions of themselves. And as fans, we're not just spectators, we're part of that journey. We grow. With them, we learn from them, and we find fragments of our own stories in theirs. When Blake Lively steps onto a red carpet in a gown she helped design, or when Taylor Swift releases an album that feels like a diary of the soul, or when Selena Gomez talks about healing, it's not just entertainment, it's connection, it's art mirroring life, it's hope disguised as celebrity news. And maybe that's why people never tire of these stories, because beyond the surface, there's substance, there's humanity. There's a sense that fame can be used for something bigger. And that's what Blake represents right now. She's more than an actress. She's a symbol of what it means to balance creativity with compassion, to evolve gracefully under pressure, to shine without overshadowing others. And as she continues to navigate the storm of speculation around the "it ends with us" legal saga, her composure remains her greatest strength. She doesn't let controversy define her. She lets her actions do the talking. Her career, her family, her integrity, all speak louder than any rumor. And that quiet power is what has kept her beloved by millions. It's the kind of legacy that outlasts trends, that endures through every shift in culture. And that's why, as this chapter of Hollywood continues to unfold, her story will remain one of those rare narratives that uplift, inspire, and remind us all that fame at its best is simply a mirror reflecting the beauty of persistence, purpose, and heart. And when we think about the interconnectedness of stars like Blake Lively, Taylor Swift, Zendaya, Selena Gomez, and so many others, it becomes clear that the world of celebrities is not just a collection of spotlights, but a constellation of stories, each shining for a reason, each reminding us that behind the glitz, there's a journey, and behind every headline, there's a heartbeat. Stay tuned for more celebrity stories, inspirational journeys, and red carpet moments that touch the heart. Subscribe for weekly storytelling documentaries about the stars you love.